What's up, folks? Ace Chapman here. Here again to talk about deal making, private equity, how you can start closing deals. Today, I want to take a lesson that's from the sports world. So, for those that aren't hugely into sports, there's this huge kind of ordeal with Magic Johnson leaving the Lakers. Even if you're not in sports, you know that there was some kind of drama around Magic just kind of up and leaving the team as president after recruiting LeBron there. And, LeBron came out and said the way he left could have been handled differently. And Magic really kept really quiet. And so there was a big interview. Magic goes in. It's supposed to be kind of this hard hitting interview. And the three people that are interviewing him had been very harsh on like how he handled the situation. They've been very critical about him not talking about why he handled it that way. And just for the last month, have really been big critics of Magic Johnson. And so he comes and he sits down with the three interviewers on ESPN. And he did something that is one of those things that, as deal makers, is so crucial. And instead of being on the defensive, instead of trying to attack them first or be critical of how they have been reporting on him, he went through each one of them and told them things that he liked about them specifically. And, in that moment, I saw why Magic Johnson is such a great deal maker. Because the way he handled that situation is exactly how a deal maker would have handled it. He did, went through Stephen A. is a really famous guy on ESPN. He told Stephen A. like, man, specific things about what he liked about him and what he's doing. Went to Max. He mentioned that Max created a new show around boxing. He talked about a specific episode that he really liked. And then there was Molly, and he complimented her, and she's married to Jalen Rose, and mentioned him. And so it wasn't just like, oh, I really love you guys. It was very specific. It's one of the tactics that I talk about when we're talking to sellers. Like, we're talking to a seller, you've got to be very specific about um, the things that you tell a seller are the reasons that you want to buy their business. Because for that seller, that business is like their child. In some case, I've bought businesses where the owner had owned the business for 33 years. What he wants is to sell that business. It's like a child that he's built from scratch. He wants somebody that's going to come in and do some new cool things in the business, be passionate about it. If I just walk in there and I tell him, hey, I want to buy your business because, I'm trying to figure out how to pay my bills. I don't want to work in corporate America and your company makes money. I like money. Give me your business. That isn't going to get somebody excited. You got to go in with very specific things. It reminds me as well of something Drake did. Because in this case, you're actually dealing with somebody who's attacking you. And Drake did something that was really, really cool. And it was in kind of during the beef with Meek. And, he had a guy who had always been super, super critical. A guy named Charlemagne, who's on the radio, really famous now. And, it's just super critical of Drake all the time. Not really ever provoked, just for no reason. I mean, you're going to have people that just don't like you. And one of the things that he did when he was in the beef was pull other people that were his enemies, and basically complimented them and kind of gave them shout outs and that kind of thing so that he could focus all his energy on that one, kind of piece opposition at that point, which obviously that's not the case anymore. But it was brilliant because he turned a guy who was his enemy, was friends with Meek, who was also Drake's enemy, and he basically softened that relationship by kind of complimenting him and doing, what was really a specific thing that tied them together. And neutralize. I mean, it was probably a couple of years before Charlemagne became critical again of Drake. So you can probably see how a high level deal maker is going to think. They're not, a lot of people, especially today, a lot of people, as soon as they're attacked or somebody says something critical, the instant thing is to go on the combative. I want to fight back against this person. And a great deal maker not only uses those tactics when they're, it's not necessarily opposition, they're just working with a seller or trying to complete a deal or pulling together partners. They're going to use that even when somebody's attacking them to figure out, okay, how can I neutralize this situation? Even if I've got to attack somebody else, let me neutralize all my other opposition so that I can focus on this one thing that I do need to attack. It's a tactic that I mean, just eloquently, Magic handled in his interview. It reminded me of Drake, and it reminded me of some great deal makers. When I think about Icon and some of the things that he did when he was working with people, it was always, come in with a soft touch, then hit him with a hammer, then come in with a soft touch, then hit him with a hammer. And I think it's something that a lot of really great deal makers do. Also excited. I am working with a former client, and we were talking the other day about doing a course that takes specific um, tactics that have been used by some of the greatest deal makers of all time and building a course around that and getting into how did Icon get to where he is, how did Warren Buffett get to where he is, really taking step by step some of the things from their life and the lessons and how you apply it to what we do in micro private equity and buying businesses. Right now, coming to you from Dominican Republic. I want to see more of you folks hanging out and traveling with me, man. So let's get some deals done. Be sure to subscribe, like the video, and also, by the way, we are going to be planning a Deal Makers Weekend. So if you wanted to get together in person with some other deal makers that, we've got people that are doing a lot of things. I've got a client that's, talking to him on Friday. He's closing a $17 million deal. Have some other clients that are starting their first fund. Got clients that are on their fifth and sixth deals. Just some really cool things. And so I know I've been very busy. People have been bugging me about doing another Deal Makers Weekend. And, this isn't a normal just come and learn and that kind of thing. Every time, it's 12 people that are sitting around a boardroom table, and everybody is bringing something to the table. So it's always an incredible group of folks. If that's something you're interested in, be sure to reach out. Thanks so much. Talk to you soon.